Out of all the mysteries in life, planet Earth is one of the biggest mysteries of all. Just its existence has sparked debate for hundreds of years, but considering how far we have come as a human race, you would think every stone on Earth would have been unturned. But this isn't the case. We've all heard the saying that 80% of the ocean is unexplored, and it's true. But it's not just the ocean that have never fully been explored by humans. Let's take a look at the world we all share, yet know so very little about. Sit back and enjoy. New Hebrides Trench. There are more than 30 deep-sea trenches around the world. Probably the most famous is the deepest one, Mariana Trench, in the western Pacific Ocean. However, there is a lesser-known one, called the New Hebrides Trench, that until 2013 had never been explored by humans. The New Hebrides Trench is found on the edge of the Coral Sea, between the islands of Vanuatu and New Caledonia, and is around 1,000 miles north of New Zealand. It was discovered in 1910 by a German naval vessel, but left untouched for nearly 100 years. Although not as deep as Mariana, it is the deepest trench in the Coral Sea region, and reaches depths of 25,000 feet, and is some 750 miles long and 45 miles across. In 2013, scientists from Aberdeen University led an expedition to discover exactly what lived in such extreme depths, and the results were not what they expected. The team used an unmanned lander fitted with cameras to film deep below the surface, and the footage they caught revealed an abundance of large grey cusk eels. Some measured more than 3 feet long, and large bright red prawns, eelpouts, arrow-teeth eels, and small crustaceans. But what they didn't find was one of the most common deep-sea fish, grenadiers. They are abundant in all other explored deep-sea trenches. However, not a single one was spotted in the New Hebrides Trench. Also absent was snailfish. Furthermore, the cusk eel is a species that is usually only seen in very low numbers in other regions, and the fact that they have been found in a place in which they thrive along with red prawns is fascinating. Ganga Puenza. For a professional mountaineer, the challenge of climbing an unexplored, unclimbed mountain is the ultimate test, and there are still plenty to choose from across the world. In fact, there are more unclimbed mountains than climbed ones. Many are in incredibly remote places, while others are in areas engulfed in political turmoil. However, there is one that is shrouded in mystery, and is one of the world's highest mountains that's never been conquered, and it's called Ganga Puenza, and is the 40th highest mountain in the world, standing at 24,981 feet. It's located in Bhutan, near the Tibetan border, and this fascinating mountain has eluded mountaineers for decades, although not through lack of trying. In 1994, the unconquered Ganga Puenza was closed to climbers for good, reportedly out of respect for local spiritual beliefs. However, it seems the allure of this mountain is too strong, and despite the ban in 1998, a Japanese team attempted to climb the mountain by approaching it from Tibet. This part of the peak falls into China territory. But it seems Bhutan found out and objected to the attempt, and the team had to abandon its bid, under somewhat mysterious circumstances. One of the Japanese mountaineers later wrote rather cryptically, "As I cannot disclose an inside story behind the sudden cancellation, I write only that the reason why the permit was withdrawn was that of a political issue with Bhutan government." But it seems even if they had been allowed to attempt the climb, it's unlikely they would have succeeded, as the previous 4 serious attempts have all failed. The first team couldn't even find the place due to the inaccuracy of the available map. Others have been halted by frostbite, high winds, and the treacherous final ridge, leading to the mountain's snow-covered dome, while illness prevented a British team from succeeding in 1985, and an unexpected monsoon in 1986 stopped an Australian expedition. These setbacks that have hampered even the most experienced climbers from getting near the summit has led many to believe that the residents of Bhutan are right when they say that the mountains are the dwelling places of spirits who do not wish to be disturbed. For now, this mountain remains one of the most well-known unexplored places in the world, and makes you wonder what exactly is up there. Antarctica. Antarctica is the most mysterious and untouched continent on the planet, and the only place in the world to have no indigenous population. Its existence was completely unknown until the early 1800s, and after its discovery, remained almost untouched for the rest of the 19th century due to its hostile environment. In 1911, Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen was the first human to reach the South Pole after he beat English explorer Robert Falcon Scott by arriving on May 14, 1911, and famously planting the Norwegian flag. Antarctica is the coldest place on Earth, with temperatures falling as low as minus 128 degrees Fahrenheit. It's also the windiest, with winds in some areas reaching 200 miles per hour. During winter months, most of Antarctica is completely dark. So it's no surprise that no one does or ever has lived there permanently, and that the majority of Antarctica is unexplored. After all, it's almost entirely covered in ice, with an average thickness of 1 mile. But it's what's hiding beneath the ice that holds the biggest mystery, and with modern technology, it's slowly revealing its secrets. It's now known that a vast body of water named Lake Vostok is buried 2.5 miles beneath the ice, and is one of over 200 liquid lakes that lie deep below the ice plain. Also buried is a captivating realm of canyons and waterways, which are now being mapped in more detail. Antarctica is also home to Mount Erebus, the southernmost active volcano on the planet, along with Earth's only long-lived lava lakes. The place is spectacular and so important to understanding how our world works and the impact humans have on it, and this has been strongly recognised by scientists for many years. At different times of the year, thousands of researchers live on the research stations that are dotted around the region. Families have temporarily moved to the bases, and several children have been born in Antarctica. It's also regularly visited by tourists wanting to experience its beauty and extreme conditions. It's hard to believe that anything can live outside in such temperatures, but incredibly, Antarctica is home to a variety of creatures, including penguins, whales, seals, and tiny nematode worms. But if it was fully explored, who knows what we would discover. Atacama Desert. Now this place is the closest thing to Mars we have on Earth. Located in northern Chile, it's 40,000 square miles of the world's strangest landscape that gets practically no rain. It's covered in salt basins, sand and lava, and the soil is so lifeless that NASA uses it to design their Mars ground tests. Because of its high altitude, dry air, and almost non-existent cloud cover, it's also one of the best places in the world to conduct astronomical observations, and the vast majority of it is unexplored, probably because there is nothing to see. The ground is sterile, and the surrounding Andes Mountains and the Chilean coastal range create a blockage of moisture, making the Atacama Desert a kind of death zone for vegetation. Although this soulless barren place has some benefits, it boasts the largest natural supply of sodium nitrate in the world, a mineral which can be used for producing fertilizers and explosives, amongst other things. But even this once sought after mineral has lost its appeal, and the once booming mining towns are now abandoned and littered across the desert. The desert is also shrouded in ancient mystery in the form of Chinchorro mummies, the oldest artificially mummified human remains ever found. They predate the Egyptian mummies by thousands of years, with the oldest mummy recovered dating back to 7020 BC. So although no one wants to live there, the Atacama Desert still has lots to offer, although all of this is not immediately obvious. The Namib Desert. I doubt few have given Namibia a second thought. The country in southern Africa is one of the most sparsely populated places in the world, and one of the most intact landscapes in Africa. Its name comes from the Namib Desert, which translates to vast place, and the lack of humans is probably the reason a quarter of the world's cheetah population happily live there. Namibia's dramatic landscapes, which range from desolate deserts to shimmering salt pans, has been used as the backdrop for numerous big-budget blockbusters. The area incorporates the vast and inhospitable Namib Desert, and it's this place that is the most fascinating. At 80 million years old, it's the oldest desert on the planet, and has been dry for an estimated 55 million years. It's also home to the highest sand dune in the world, known as Dune 7, that stands at around 383 metres, over 70 metres taller than the Shard in London. The desert is also littered with impact craters, most famously Rotterdam, created by a meteorite the size of a large car. It's also gained the reputation as Africa's land of ghosts due to the notorious stretch of shoreline bordering the desert known as Skeleton Coast, where many shipwrecks lie buried in the sand after falling victim to the treacherous swell of the sea. As you move further into the desert, there is remnants of the now abandoned mining town, slowly being reclaimed by the desert. But perhaps the strangest inhabitants of this vast desert are the 150 or so wild horses, who live on the desert's fringe, and have adapted over the years to live for long periods without water. How they got there is unknown, as horses are not native to southern Africa, although it's thought they may have originally been German and South African military horses, abandoned in the turmoil of the First World War. It's believed they survived because there was a watering point close by, and for generations the horses thrived out of sight of humans. Although in recent years they have been given some support by authorities to ensure their survival, although it seems they have achieved this for many years by themselves. So that's 5 of the most uninhabitable and desolate places in the world. I hope you've enjoyed, and just a reminder, Top 5 has an online magazine app called Thriller Magazine. It's a monthly compilation of some of the creepiest and mysterious articles on the web, and it will help you further expand your knowledge of the unknown. Check it out on iOS or Android by clicking the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.